Usually, when people get sidetracked with um, with different subjects and different things happening, um, at some point they all kind of come together. And what I'm kind of trying to say is this whole exchange things that are going on right now. We of course had Gemini, Genesis, whole fiasco. We have had one before, just forgot the name, tornado something.
I'm not up to
Now we've
date
got.
with what's going on with Gemini. I use Gemini, but I don't have a clue what's
I can
going
tell
on.
you later. I can tell you later.
Okay.
Give me a second. And then we got FTX, which I probably don't need to explain. Now we've got the issue with Coinbase happening, and probably also Grayscale, and maybe also
Well,
Binance.
yes, all of those are going to be gone after by Reggie Middleton and his patent. But currently,
So
Reggie is going after. Yes, he mentioned Digital Currency Group. He mentioned Coinbase was 350 million, is now over a billion, and is
1.2,
now what's that?
1.2.
1.2, and
Yeah.
now with well it what was it, the other CBDC, USDC. So he's going after
So
Circle and Goldman Sachs. Um,
yeah, yeah. So here's my point. This can possibly not be the bottom.
correct. I mean, what's going to happen with Tether? Tether goes down, you got a lot bigger fish to fry going around. I mean, that's a
Well, the
lot
thing
going
is
around.
that why wouldn't they want the stablecoin market as well?
Well, that's my point. That's exactly my point with the CBDCs. And let's change the laws and let's move the goalposts so now we can run and control the minions that are currently within the crypto space. I agree with that.
So
I mean, fundamentally, I
well,
disagree with what they're
you
doing. However, I
oh, sure,
agree that
sure,
yes,
sure,
that
sure.
is what they're doing.
And I since I've been in these spaces for the last few years, one of the mental gymnastics that I tell myself is that everyone disagrees with me. I'm usually right. Um, that's the irony, I guess. Um, so
Well, I
I'm
mean,
I'm
for
getting
me,
I'm getting a little excited here.
well, for me, I mean, I'm good either which way that crypto goes right now. If we do get a fall out the bed moment, I'm fine. I've still got other liquidity on the side ready to pounce on that. Um, as well as I'm not selling any more in my portfolio. I mean,
No,
currently I'm only throwing a very little bit of funds into crypto monthly now. So now my social security check went from, what was it, 1,200 and some change to $1,388. So
yeah, but
now every month I take 388 out of that 1388, and I
the
just take
thing is,
that
Dave.
388, I throw that right into crypto.
The thing is, Dave, you've got a better financial position than I have. Plus, you've been doing this far longer than I have. So I'm not that versed in it as you are.
Well, I
Uh, I,
still invest. I still invest every month, even though right now, yes, funds are going towards working on the house and doing that kind of stuff. And I mean, I've now not had rental income since September. Yeah, September was the first month without rent. So, so since September, I've gone zero income at all, and still managing a mortgage and everything else on top of it, and repairs and everything else.
feels good, doesn't it? Yeah, you're doing well, man.
Well, I mean, look, the only thing I wish I'd have done different this last bull run was I wish I would not have listened to two people And I wish I would have just gone with my gut instinct and just paid the mortgage off in full. Because currently I only owe like, I don't know, it's $38,000 or $40,000. That's it. I mean, it's 3 years of a mortgage. I mean, I can stand on my head for 3 years at
Yeah,
that point, you know?
must feel
So,
great not to be
well, now, especially with an
dependent anymore.
attorney, now, especially with an attorney going after the insurance company for what is just, I mean, even if it's just the 60 grand that was within my policy. However, you tack on all of this other kind of stuff and attorney fees and everything else. I have no clue what this guy's number is going to be.
Yeah,
But
and
here
the
again,
thing is as well, right?
I tried explaining to the attorney, it's like, look, even my labor is not free. I've done all of this and I've got nothing. I've gotten no help.
That's my problem. What you're touching on right now is that I'm really spread thin. Like I've got a full-time job. I'm in a divorce, and then I'm doing this shit as well, and it's like it feels like I'm doing three jobs at the same time, and all three
Yeah.
of them are demanding,
Yeah.
and it's just
Well, that's why I had to
oh
walk
man.
away from crypto for a little while. I took a break from all of YouTube and I took a break from Twitter. And, it's like, I got bigger shit to do right now, and I
Yeah, I
still
want
do.
to do. The thing
It's
is,
like,
I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. I'm not from you though, and from a few other people, but I'm going to do that at the
I
point
just
where
had to
I,
unplug. I just had to unplug
yeah,
because it's
but
so
I
much.
can't, Dave. I can't unplug until I'm at the bottom. When I'm vested at the bottom, that's when I'll unplug. And I'm still waiting on the money from the bank, which still
Well,
hasn't
because
gonna come through.
right now, it's like just dealing with people who are bipolar, high highs and low lows, and I'm like, I'm sick of it. It's like we're going to the moon if we wake up tomorrow, and it's like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah, but can I ask you a few other questions because
Yeah.
I wanted to basically have this space to run one thing through you. Um, short while ago, there was the birthday of Digibyte 9 years space on Twitter. I
Hmm.
haven't really looked at the video yet, and I've seen that you've recorded it and uploaded it on YouTube, and I've got it bookmarked and I shared it in my community. So I've got it on my to-do list to listen to, and I was in the space for a brief 5 minutes or so, um,
Yeah,
seeing,
I
you know,
wish I could redo that over again because, man, I came out and I sounded like a fucking cheerleader. I mean, which
no,
granted,
I haven't,
what I said to Jared does still exist. I did
I
mean
haven't
that, but
listened to it. I haven't listened to it. So
for me, I
that was
just
my
sounded like a cheerleader with nothing
that
intelligent to speak of or questions to ask, and I'm just like, man, I
here's
wish
my
I could
here's
have
my
redone that.
here's my issue. When Jared was speaking up, I was in the space and I listened to him for about 5 minutes, and then I closed the space, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to do this because I basically wanted to shit on him, and I was like, yeah, this is probably not the right timing to do it, but probably never going to have another time to talk to the guy. But it was in reference to version 8.22 that what they're working on, and I get it, really, I do, I get it, also from a genuine perspective. But this was the same message that we heard last year around this time, and it's the exact same message. And there was I'm hopeful. I'm a faithful person. I'm a trusting person, but I just gonna need a little bit more than what he said 365 days ago. And I also was like, yeah, I'm not gonna grill him in front of the entire people here because it's supposed to be a nice event and supposed to be a positive event for Digibyte. But it wasn't really advertised outside to
I
other
I know,
communities.
and
So
that was why I wanted
I
to
could have had
record it.
that discussion.
I wanted to
But
record it to be able to put it out there for people because it's like, it's great for the 5 people who are involved listening in on the space, but what about the rest of the population across the globe? It's like, while we're discussing and talking this in the United States, people in the EU and Australia are asleep. It's like,
yeah, it was
um,
3 o'clock at night, I think, for me. Um, And
Right,
I
but I
said
mean,
to
my thought was,
I
just
told
get
Johnny
the
Law
information out there.
I told Johnny Law a few days earlier in the space, maybe you were in it. I said, yeah, you should host it at the same time as the World Cup final. I mean, that one is that's probably your best bet going global because they got that shit figured out already. And it's that's one aspect of it, but more to me, it's like I really, really don't know what to make of Jared, and it annoys the fuck out of me from an investment point of view. I don't really want to marry my bags, so to speak.
Right.
And I see a
Well,
lot of
and
things to be optimistic about, but
yeah, and same here. I mean, there are several different assets that I hold, any one of which can pop off at any given moment, you know.
yeah, I'm of the opinion, Dave, that if, and I say this consciously, if Digibyte is going to go to the moon, it's not going to stop at $1.
Well, and that's why I said what I said also early on, in that video to Jared. I mean, I understand the frustrations while waiting on 8.22 and along with other things and the difficulty with algo swaps and other stuff like that. If that becomes a thing, it gets put back on a discussion table, whatever, look, or the day of quantum computing. How are we going to be able to handle an algorithmic change at that point? So, look, I get it, but there's a lot more to discuss there to inform others about. It was my thing. It's like that's great for the five people who are sitting around the room, and talking to each other
Yeah,
and going back
but
and
here's
forth with the rest of the
I
globe would
agree.
like to know some of those
I
things
agree
too.
there. But from look, there are at least three entities in this ecosystem that don't want it out there. Like I've been banned from Sovereign Edge EU from just retweeting their shit. I've been blocked and banned by Monty Metzger from LCX for pointing out the connection between exchanges falling, LCX being compliant, the SEC lawsuits, and then only having two tokens, DGMV and Timons, and actually Reggie Middleton's NFT patent not holding up in Europe because it's not rooted there. So he blocked me for no reason whatsoever. And then there was this Ask Me Anything, which was like a weird kind of thing from DigiCorp Labs, like 2 3 weeks ago, and they basically stated that they've seen more activity in the last couple of months, probably because I've been talking about it in different spaces. And they said, well, we don't want it yet because it gives pressure to uh, be more transparent, I guess. And to me, it's I don't really know what to make of that. It's at some point you're just gonna have to say I'm here.
Well, that's kind of what I've accepted is like you just said, I'm just here. I'm here for the show. I'm here for the ride. It's like, I'm
What do you make of it? Do you understand my point, my thought process?
yeah, in other words, that it's inevitable with this technology that it will be used one day and implemented. I get that. However, they're not ready to flip the switch and turn it on. When factually, crypto is ready for that switch to be flipped on. They are not ready to flip it on yet because they want more control and they want their buddies and their pals and their everyone else invested in this for when they flip the switch. So that way, then their last name is Carnegie, or Rockefeller or whatever, and
Yeah, and the funny thing is that at the moment that they do it and it blows up, it also blows up again.
yeah, I see two more market cycles dealing with CBDCs. So yeah,
Yeah, but I also think that if we get the situation where old school money is involved,
Well, and
which
that
is
was a
inevitable.
conversation. That was a conversation I recently had with someone talking about the representative from Louisiana, um, Steve Scalise. Talking about well, they can just change the law. They can do they no, they can't. They can't. You can't control it. It's on satellites. All of this. They don't want it. They're going to ban it. It's like, oh, and be the next Russia and China and India. Okay, whatever. But we're going to ban it now. We're going to ban it now. We're going to ban it, and we're just going to keep banning it all the way around until everyone buys the dip, right? So that's just what it seems like. But it's like I'm trying to explain to this person. It's like I don't think this person understands yet. It's that with it being decentralized, there's nothing that they can do to have control over it. They can
Yeah, but
try, but in
exactly.
trying, they're forcefully going to cause the price to go up drastically, and they're not aware of that yet.
And every time they hurt it and beat it, it comes back stronger.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
And
just
they're just trying to play catch up, and
lately
they're
I'm
just
just
trying to play
very
catch up.
doubtful.
They're just trying to play catch up and control the on and off ramps, so that way they get their cut. Is
Yeah,
the way I see it, and
sure.
and
Me
and
too.
I do believe that yes, a lot of them are going to be securities. However, I do believe that for some, which may or may not be securities, whether the ownership of them it will be grandfathered in at that point, is my honest opinion, because some of these different assets are then going to create the next 1% of the globe. So by owning some of these assets, they're then going to be the wealthy of the globe
Yeah,
after
but
that.
here's my thought
And well,
process,
they're
Dave.
basically qualifying them as an accredited investor.
Dave,
So
here's my.
they're going to be able to own those
I
those
agree.
securities if they want.
I agree, Dave. But wouldn't like the next 1% or the next 0.0001%, however you want to look at it, wouldn't they want those people to be actually knowledgeable on this stuff? Wouldn't it make sense for them to think like, yeah, this Dave and this Steak guy could probably be in on it because at least they know what the fuck it's about. And maybe that's part of the equation as well on how difficult it's being created. That it's really a matter of people that uh, have to see the trees for the forest, I think. And it's
Well, I mean, otherwise you're just studying the same code over and over again. Without it takes a visionary to actually put something together and make it work. So I
sure.
mean, otherwise you're still in DOS. So you're in dead operating system at that point. So you're back to line 10, line 20, line 30. Oh no, if this happens, then move to line 25 and repeat. So it's like, if this, then
Maybe
what? I get it. I understand it. But
maybe it's just my gut feeling. Maybe I hope I say that right, but it's I think it's my gut talking right now that basically says, yeah, we're not on the bottom yet. We're pretty far from the bottom, in my humble honest opinion, even macro speaking. But
right, but at which point will you be able to buy the a further bottom? That's going to be the next question with CBDCs launching. Like I said, they're going to want to control the on and off ramps. So can you buy crypto now? Yes. Okay. Tomorrow, will you be able to? I don't know the answer to that. Will you be able to sell it? I don't know. Will you be able to trade it? Yes. But
well,
what will the value be when
the
when
supply chains have already been rerouted during Corona. So let's say that on and off ramp, that risk isn't that prevalent anymore. I mean, they've already detached it from the countries that they don't want to operate with. Like the lines have been drawn in the West versus East conflict. The
Right.
borders have been chalked up. That's probably what that whole Ukraine thing is going on about. It's probably the last chance that Russia can do something on the European front. And when that's finished, the new divide of where the commodities will be mined and where it will go to is probably being cooked up and agreed upon, and we'll see some sort of growing towards a new equilibrium. But it's probably already in the woodworks. So maybe this is Bretton Woods free that we're looking at.
I've thought that for a few years now. I mean, we don't have any other option to move forward. Anything that can scale to meet the demand of society globally, we don't have anything. This is the only option.
Oh man, Dave. How legendary would the story be if we could actually make billions out of this?
Like I said,
This video.
a few people who own a few key assets, yes, they may be securities, okay, but at which point will the ownership of that security make you grandfathered in, because that security has now given you the ability to be an accredited investor?
Well, the thing is that here's the beauty of it. If you've got a few billionaires and you get a few thousand of them, and they're all knowing each other or via online, then suddenly that's a pretty big group that you um, want to be part of the system. Because look, in my humble opinion, from a strategy perspective, from an old politician's perspective, wouldn't this be their wet dream? Like honestly, like if you need a new heir to pass your system down to, wouldn't you want your entire population out of 30 to 45, 50-year olds be fully in on it? I mean, that's the kind of people you kind of want, right? You kind of from a society point of view. I
Well,
mean,
and from a societal point of view, I'm also of the mind that some of these Congress critters should be replaced. Other people should run and get into a position of power to where they can help implement or bridge that gap of crypto, of being able to understand that by forking Bitcoin, that does not mean that you just made more Bitcoin. It means now you made Bitcoin Cash or SV or whatever, or Dash, just or
or
Litecoin.
Litecoin.
Right?
Yeah.
It's just another fork. You do not, I could fork Digibyte. I could, but the community would not follow that.
Well, I
Well,
would
I
rather
mean,
follow you.
I'm saying as far as far as it. In other words, it would not be DGB. It would be like, I don't know,
With
DGB
the
ABC. DGB ABC. Remember that shit? The ABC and anyway. But it's a lot of people
we
don't.
could create a Dave coin though.
I don't know. I'd have to get special permission on that one. That because that would be the transfer of value through a smart contract, which infringes upon Reggie Middleton's patent. A lot of people hadn't
Okay.
put all this together yet, and it's like, holy shit, dude.
No, we are very much, in my humble opinion. I try to find people on spaces, on crypto spaces in Twitter, but also on Telegram that actually outsmart me. And outsmart me in the sense that they've been looking into this, not from an intelligence point of view, but more like from a knowledge point of view. And to my staggering, uh, yeah, it's just I can't find them, and I'm pretty good at finding stuff. I just can't find the people. There's a handful, There's a handful.
And that's
Handful
why
Litecoiners.
sometimes I have to walk away and unplug because there's so much misinformation and disinformation out there. It's like it's bothering.
Oh,
It
I didn't
bothers me.
tell you.
It's like
Oh, I can tell you a great anecdote, man, because we haven't been speaking for a long time. But I've got a few anecdotes that what happened to me that basically can act as as an anchor or as evidence going forward, so to speak. I was in a space from um, a Binance US community manager and a prolific marketing figure from Solana. So they had a space, and it was about, well, it grew from 80 to about 350 people. So that's reasonably full on Twitter Spaces. Pretty crowded space. And it was in regards to Solana. So they had some discussions, and they were all bullish, and lots of price action and talk, and lots of talk about how positive everything is without saying anything factual that already annoyed the shit out of me. So I asked to speak up. Had to wait for a long time. I think like 45 minutes before I finally got a shot, but I was excited, so I could wait. And I raised my hand. Had to wait for another 15, and I finally got the mic. And it was like, yeah, sure, go ahead. And I was like, yeah, I don't really have anything to add, but I want to ask a few questions. Is that okay? And and luckily they said yes. So I was
yeah,
like, yeah, I
how do you
kind of got.
how do you turn off a blockchain 10 times in 9 months? That's what I
Yeah,
want
no, no, I no, I already know the answer to that. So um, I told them basically that 99% of the nodes that Solana runs, even more than that, are run by corporate, not by retail, because it requires 128 gigabytes of RAM to run a Solana node. So now that FTX is out of the window, Coinbase is one of the largest holders of Solana, and they're both patent infringed by Reggie Middleton, and Coinbase isn't really listing it towards their shareholders, that they're having a lawsuit coming up, which is kind of malicious, if you ask me. So I was asking them, what do you, from an investment point of view, like, I understand that you're bullish on the technology, but because it's got great UI UX, and Gen Z really likes the NFT protocol that Solana puts forth, so it's very consumer friendly. I get all that, but like, what do you make of this that I just shared? The 120 gigabytes of RAM to run a node, and Reggie Middleton's patent infringement. So I asked my question, and they turned me down to listener, and they moved on with the price talk.
yeah
This was a Binance community
yeah they're
manager.
not they're not ready for that.
This was a Binance community manager.
I have 128 gigabytes of RAM, but it's like most people don't. But I do it because of all the different video footage and rendering and converting this and converting that. I need that kind of RAM. So I built a server, to be able to handle and run all of this. So, but yeah, most people don't have 128 gigabytes of RAM to run a
And
node.
if they and if they do, they won't be running a Solana node.
Right. Um, and here again, it's like I wanted to say a lot more and hear a lot more, like on the Prog Pow and Random X bit, because I would love that. I would love it, but I understand 8.22 needs to get done and all that stuff finished first, but whatever.
Yeah, but when
Okay, but like I
822 is
said,
done.
right now I just stepped away from crypto space as a whole. It's like, yeah, I'll look and see where my holdings are,
Okay,
but
fair enough.
but not every day, not like all the time. I'm not really that concerned with it
No,
anymore.
I
It's
get
like,
that, and you've got your buy orders in, but I'm still waiting on my personal money from the bank before I can do that, and
no,
then I might.
I don't have any buy orders in. I don't.
Okay.
So
Wow.
right now I do hold I have I have 5,500 sitting in an exchange, a little more in Gemini, The
Oh yeah.
5,500 that's in that one
Wait,
exchange is ready to
wait,
pounce.
Dave. Dave, I've got some news on Gemini.
But I've got that as well as I got cash. I've got other things as well. So it's like still got funds in a checking account that I can transfer. But for what I normally have, I'm fine. I mean, I'm not hurting. I'm not hungry. I'm not, it's none of that. I mean, look at what I was able to achieve. I took profit,
Wow.
licked my ice cream, and look, I'm fixing my house. I said it during 2017 bull market. The next bull run, I want my house fixed and I want a guide dog. And I want to finish those two things, but the house won't pass the
Yeah,
inspection,
Dave. Dave,
So
Can I send you an open letter on Gemini on your DM in Twitter? And if I disconnect the browser here, then I disconnect the connection because I can hear you.
yeah,
But
either that way or you can send it to the email, either way, because I can pull it up.
yeah, I'll send you a few things that I found in due diligence on Gemini. Maybe you'd like to read up on it. It's small, but it will give its summary.
Is it anything to do with the 200,000 Bitcoin of the Gemini
It's it it,
twins?
it 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 basically it's an A4 one-page summary of everything that happened and why it's is as it is.
And does it go in detail as far as where the Winklevoss twins purchased from?
No, but I can probably pull that up from another flowchart.
Because I would like to know what agency was over that.
I
I
thought
really
it was
would.
DCG. I thought it was digital grayscale, if I recall correctly.
I didn't know that they were a thing back then. Because
If
that
you
was,
if you if you can give me a minute, I can look it up for you if you want to know.
well, I mean, just send it to me later. That's fine.
I will.
I'm
Will
just
do.
I'm just brainstorming. I'm just thinking. I'm like, well, how did they get on the scene? And I mean, I remember that it was Facebook had launched
Exactly.
his design, his program, and
Exactly.
and
Exactly.
then they were bought out or
Yes.
paid off, bought
No,
out
they
or
weren't.
paid off, however you want to look at it.
No, they
And
weren't, in
then
my humble opinion. I think they just got set up.
you think they were just planted?
Well, look, it's convenient. It's convenient. But the tinfoil is flexible, Dave.
Right. Well, if running 5 mil 10, it's like
Thank you. And maybe I'm nuts from time to time, but to me, it seems too much. Everything is just too much a coincidence. And if I look at one thing, then I'm like, yeah, that coincidence can be a coincidence. I mean, it's one thing. But if I look in the general space, there are like 500 to 600 coincidences, and then it's a little bit much.
coincidence theorist. I agree.
And I don't know, and I don't claim to think that I know what's going to happen. I can't look into the future, but boy, am I trying.
Well, and as far as trying to look into the future and see what's coming about, I'm looking at where patents are, who's doing what, because any sort of legal structure is going to fall back on previous legal structure of that of a patent. I mean,
Well,
try telling that to Tesla,
well, that's the thing.
or
Karma
Edison,
disagrees.
or
No, no, no,
Edison,
no, Dave.
you know.
Karma disagrees there because he actually lost his business on a patent, even though he held the patent. And he can tell you if you haven't yet, he can tell you a great story over how he had an aboriginal patent over something in finance and insurance and got fucked over by the system.
And who was that?
Karma from XRP.
I didn't know that.
And it's phenomenal. It's something to do with the Atlas case, because Atlas is apparently the name of the whole patent insurance kind of thing that blew up, and they basically changed the patent laws for everything in computer science. Just everything. They changed the entire law of everything. And this happened in, I don't know, I have to look it back, 2010 or something. I don't know. But he was actually smack in the middle. And he asked his lawyer, like, what can I do? And his lawyer said, yeah, nothing. You're fucked. You just, you know, you just became
Even
part.
for the ownership of the patent.
Yeah. So there is some sort of risk involved. And I don't mean to be non-conforming and alarmist on things, but I think it would be nice if you'd ask Karma to share that story with you and make up your own opinion.
Surely
I'm gonna
there's
look
got to
at it
be
right now.
some way. Surely there's got to be some way of being a patent holder and someone else using it, whether you lost it in a bet or whatever. Surely there's some other way, some other clause or something that can be added to where a a
Well, some Americans told me
transaction amount occurs to where from the use of the patent a royalty is then paid.
Dave
Surely there must be that.
Dave someone told me that's the Second Amendment, right?
Yeah, it could be. So, I mean,
A bit dark,
it's
but
3 men can keep a secret if 2 are dead, right?
definitely.
So yeah, that's Second Amendment. That does come into play.
There are even more secrets when everyone's dead.
Oh Lord, that, but it's. Hmm. But I mean, as far as looking at who's doing what, I don't think anyone's paying any mind to Reggie Middleton, really. I mean, it's not like front page news anywhere, and I don't know why. I don't know why other influencers or
Of course you do.
ambassadors are coming out
Dave,
and
Dave,
saying
Dave,
anything.
Dave, of course you do, because all the media, at least in crypto, is almost all run by Visa and MasterCard.
Yeah, but what about all the other individuals who are running their own channels and whatnot? I mean,
Dave, I just told you. I've been looking really, really hard for them. Can't find them. They're not there. Here's my problem. I'm going to go at this from a psychological point of view. Everyone is doing really darn hard to find due diligence in an innovative, pioneering space that they all kind of want to find their own tribe. And when they found it, they stuck with it. And they stopped looking at the entire manufacturing belt and just a small piece of it. And the head doesn't know what the feet are doing. And a few people are generalists and are trying to look over their own shoulder and say, okay, what are you cooking, boy? What are you doing? And how does that fit in with in the grand scheme of things? And it's a lot to digest. And I think that's one of the primal reasons that people like Reggie Middleton don't get so much attention. Like, there's a lot of paid influencers that get paid advertisements. They get tens of thousands of followers, and if you listen to them, they're full of shit.
right.
Sure, they can smile pretty, but they're full of shit. They don't know anything about the technology, nothing at all. I was in an ape NFT space from the
Let me guess, they're
in reg-
talking Web 3 and it's Web 2 with a plug-in.
well, thank you. Yeah, they were. But here was the special thing. Again, I had to wait for like an hour to get my hand raised up and ask a question. And in that space, they were discussing at the time the probable probe of the SEC into the ape NFT, and they were um, philosophizing whether art was a utility or a security, and so forth. And there were four people in that space, and they called themselves Web3 lawyers. So I looked at their profiles, and they were tweeting in regards to law and regulations, and I was like, a Web3 lawyer? What the fuck's a Web3 lawyer? I mean, I've read everything in regards to compliance. Does that make me a Web3 lawyer? Am I a Web3 lawyer right now? So I came up and I was like, okay, you kind of piqued my interest because maybe I've been looking all wrong, and maybe you guys are here, man. It's awesome. I can ask you shit about the MiCA regulation in the EU in regards to all the SEC lawsuits and the CBDC. I've been doing this shit all alone. So I'm like, yeah, I could use some help. I could use some insight. I would love someone else to digest this shit and say, no, man, here you're wrong, or this could be something. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna put a little toe in the water and see the feel for the temperature. So I asked one question. I was like, what do you make of the MiCA regulation in Europe? And they all four of them replied, what's the MiCA regulation?
Wow. So you're not, yeah. Then you're not. They may have been attorneys, but they were not Web3 attorneys. They may have just
No,
been
no. They profile themselves with tens of thousands of followers in that community as Web3 lawyers.
right. But I mean, Web3, they're probably doing some sort of NFT project or something.
Dave,
They may be
of course they
attorneys,
do.
but they're not. They're not.
Of course they do. Of course they do. But just one question, and they didn't even know.
Right. If yeah. If you're
And I
involved,
was
you don't.
like, okay, never mind, right? I was like, no, never mind. That was my only question. I'm gonna drop back to listener and do something else. This isn't worth my time. But it just goes to show that that space at the time had 1,500 people in it. And I was like, those people should be listening to me.
Yeah.
I could tell them a
And
thing or two.
I feel that way often when I speak to other people. It's like no one else is paying us any mind. No one else is paying attention. It's like look over here and not over here. And it's like, all y'all all fell for that.
Yeah, what the fuck are you all doing? Same thing
Oh
is
man.
happening right now with a phenomenal tool that came online a month ago, Chat GPT from OpenAI. Have you been aware of that?
Yes, I heard of that. I have not tried it. I would love to try it though. To
You
write
should. It's
code.
amazing.
Well, to be able to write code through the use of AI, I think that would be cool. Just because then it can run through the entire sequence of events. The if this then what, the entire length of code for it to do whatever I want it to do. I think that would be an awesome tool.
Yeah,
I you know like what Jared was explaining, and it's like, wow, was it successful in finding and fixing some of the issues? And that is badass if you can. And maybe Jared's right. Maybe that is a way in the future for other people to code things easier going into the future, where you don't have to go to school for 5 freaking years to learn how to write one freaking language in a
Dave,
computer
Dave,
and
Dave,
then not even know how to do
Dave,
anything with it.
Dave. The beauty of AI is that the brilliance of AI is in the person that asks the question. Did you know what I asked OpenAI?
No clue.
In the style of the St. James Bible, give me 10 more commandments.
Huh.
Boom. I got 10 more moral commandments. You
I
want to
would,
hear them?
Yeah, yeah.
I can send it to you in the email.
Okay.
And the thing is that this thing can give you another layer of morality. It just, I mean, it's the same as, yeah, you can have a knife and open a package, but you can wood carve something awesome out of it too. So it's just the only limit on it is your own imagination.
Hmm.
It's like a magic box. I mean, I even
Right,
ask
but
it.
like I was saying though, as far as being able to code specific tasks that I normally would not be able to do,
Oh, there is a
that
guy
I
on
think would
YouTube,
be
Dave.
was that
There is a there is a guy on YouTube with Chat GPT, and he is 3D modeling. So he asked ChatGPT to describe itself and then code itself through the 3D modeling. And now ChatGPT is coding itself in how it sees itself.
hmm.
I mean, and then he can 3D print it. Amazing, isn't it? I mean, the thing is that right now,
Did it
ChatGPT.
print out as a squiddy?
No, it was some weird sort of sphere. But the thing is that right now it's approximately at an IQ of between 120 130. So it's like university level. And the thing is that the universities around the globe now have an issue because this thing can write an essay in 3 seconds. That's passable. But if you ask the Chat GPT to write an essay from the perspective of a professor, it can write one as well. So the actual limit is in the person asking the question, and this is
Correct.
just this year. Like next year, this thing is growing exponentially. Like right next year, we're probably going to go at 140, 150 IQ. So there's no one that can actually, well, determine whether you did it or not. So this is here, and we're in a very.
Well, and how do you define Moore's law? So that's what I'm trying to get across to a few other people. It's like all of this shit is going to double again in 5 years as far as where we have come in crypto as a whole. I mean, you go from just say 2011, right? 2000 or 2013. So all of that from 2009 to 2013 was basically the building blocks of that of Bitcoin, right? So from 2013 till current till this year 2023 is 10 years. So by Moore's law, everything that has been written and done will double again, but in 5 years.
Yeah, but here's the funny thing. Even if we become a $10 trillion market cap um, asset, even if in the general spec of things, monetarily speaking, that's still very tiny.
Yeah, because I was going to say, I think gold is like 20.
Seven, right? 7 or 8.
I
Next
thought it was
cycle,
more than that.
next cycle, crypto, not Bitcoin, but crypto as a whole has the potential to outgrow gold.
Yeah. And when all this started, it was like, Bitcoin will never be 1 to 1 with the US dollar. Then it became Bitcoin will never be worth 1 ounce of gold. Right. And meanwhile, I had to watch Bitcoin equal that of a fucking kilo of gold. It's like,
Yeah, and
really?
now,
Now it's going to encompass the entire market of gold?
Bitcoin
Wow.
will never, Dave, Bitcoin will never be more than the U.S. market.
I don't know. I
Could be.
see Bitcoin going to a certain level, then I see others just taking over. It's first mover advantage. I mean, look at America Online and those before that, like who was it? My Netscape Navigator, right? So I mean, and you know But who doesn't use Google today?
Yeah, and
So
here's my problem. Going back to Jared again. I don't think when I hear him talk, he's that smart.
he came out with some lefts and with a couple jabs and an uppercut. He did, you know.
Really.
What you know, it was the conversation, the birthday bash or whatever, the 9-year anniversary of the Genesis block. That
Yeah,
was
go into that for me, please. Tell me how was that space?
it was all right. Um, a lot of people had similar issues where they, you know, were trying to explain to get a message out to other people, more content, more content, more content. Thing is like, you know, who else is making any content other than, you know, Digicore Labs, I know, and, you know, maybe a couple people here and there, but it's not like a lot of information. So that's why I think I
I kind of disagree,
what
man.
my
I've been
vision what my vision is though is to not just have a completed total production, you know, set aside on one particular aspect of it and be done. I would rather give more of a discussion kind of give and take role, like what we do on Twitter Spaces all the time, for other people to come in and just listen and learn, you know, and maybe take some of that footage and then refine it into some other video. But yes, of other people talking and discussing and putting points together. I get more out of that than I do just some guy speaking from MIT, you know,
Me
for
too, but I've been doing that for the past more than half a year to at least like 400, 500 people on Twitter Spaces in different communities. Like I've been getting the word out on everything on very active people holding a bag that are capable of investing. And eventually, if there is something to push, I'm going to push it. Like if there is an 8.22, I'll tell them. If there is something from DigiCorp, like when they had that proof of concept with Shell, have you seen that?
yeah, I didn't go digging and diving, but that was interesting. Shell
Uh, but,
Oil
but
Company.
look, people don't look, dude.
I've
Shell
been
is a Dutch
busy.
company, right?
I've been
No, but Shell is a Dutch company, right? Like British Dutch, right? Royal Shell. I'll tell you how big Shell is, and then let this sink in how big Shell is, because these oil companies, all of them are big. But here's the thing that Shell does. Shell is the number one initiator of the um, energy transmission agenda. They run that agenda.
I know
That's
Shell
what
is huge here.
that's what
Shell
Shell
and
is doing.
ExxonMobil.
No, but that's what Shell is doing. Shell is doing the global energy transmission agenda. That's their bread and butter. They fund it. They all the people working for it. It's all Shell. So for Digibyte to go into that as the only crypto project, to me is like fucking nuts. It's fucking nuts. It's right up there with Lulu and Liquid Moly, like all these enterprises. Like these aren't your run of the mill business deals. Like this isn't you and me going to the barber on the corner and say, yeah, man, we're both bald, but you should buy Digibyte. This is like,
Like 9 figures.
yeah, but no, it's the top of the market for enterprises. Like the companies that I think are coming along are Siemens and Ericsson, and then I've been part of Payfoot, which is I've been looking at Payfoot as well, which is in that sphere too. I don't know if you've heard of it, but that's
I have.
something
You said
the
Payfoot?
yeah, Payfoot. And in short, it's a metaverse concept um, that wants to bring football games to people at home, so you can have the experience in VR or AR, probably VR, that you're in the stadium and you can interact with your players and coaches and sports teams. Now, that already sounds pretty cool, but here's where it gets cool. The board of directors on Payfoot are people that work for FIFA. FIFA is like the global association, like the NBA, right? The NBA is for basketball, FIFA is for football. It's like super legit. And Thibault Verbiest, the Freefold lawyer, is actually the co-founder of the project. And the only metaverse related tokens and coins he is liaised with is actually DGMV Freefold. So
Well, and my
they've
next
yet to
question.
tell what they'll do, but I've been looking into his account, like who is he connected to? He was at the World Cup talking to the United Arab Emirates and Saudi and Qatar Prince, right? They were hosting the whole thing in Qatar during the World Cup. He's got a French professional club that is going to start it. It's a sub top club, Bastia. I actually know football a lot, so I can really I can really look into this. So the sales haven't started yet. I was in the space with like 8 people that did an AMA, but no one could ask a question. They just did an interview. They've got a Telegram channel, and they'll be posting when it's going to come online and when people can buy in. I'm definitely going to go into it. I think it's going to be
Yeah, because
because here's
I'll
the,
be
here's the thing.
curious.
Last part. EA Sports Electronic Arts. Probably heard of them before. Like it's
Yes.
in the game. They used to make a lot. They
Uh-huh.
make Madden as well, and like all those sports games, right? Golf, whatever, and
Right.
ice hockey. And they've had the license for FIFA since 1992 till this year. FIFA basically stopped the license with EA. So all the portrait licenses and the player licenses, they're all up to be sold digitally. And
Did has Theta gone after that yet?
I
Or
don't
does
know.
that infringe upon one of Theta's patents?
I don't know. Thibault Verbiest is pretty clever.
Yeah, but I
He's a
mean,
lawyer.
any attorney is. I mean, any attorney can argue anything. That's it. They just define
Dave,
words and they
Dave,
go back and forth. That's all that they
how,
do.
how bullish will you be if Theta is actually going to be part of the freefold experience? I mean, look at what Dragon Chain is doing with Disney. Video is definitely coming. VR, AR is definitely coming to NFTs. People
Yeah.
aren't paying attention. So, and what's Reggie's position going to be? It's going to be interesting. It's a big market, man. These kind of players, like what we just mentioned, these names, like
Right. He's not worried about the individual with the NFT or a decent sized project of NFTs. He's not concerned with that. Reggie's going after major players. He's not looking for you know is
I
he looking
understand.
for someone to set an example of? I think so. To use them as an example, say, well, this happened. So I do see that
You
happening
started you
coming
started
about.
with Coinbase.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it remains interesting to me.
And then with CBDCs as well as with other um, stable coins, because I mean, with the USDC coin, however, I question
Mhm.
what's after block one told the judge no, in a New York judge told them no as far as an audit on that a tether, in my
Yeah.
mind, you don't have much fucking time left. So that's when I started warning everyone to get out of tether a while back.
Yeah.
It's like, don't be in tether, at least convert to USDC, and then now it's like, I don't trust anybody. I'd rather hold it within crypto, good, solid crypto. I would rather hold it there than within USDC or USDT or anything, even a Gemini dollar. I don't want to hold it there either. I'd rather hold BTC, LTC, BCH, DGB, XLM, XRP. Who's doing what? VERI. So I own one or two of those too.
Yeah.
So who's doing what, and all of this other stuff is just crying wolf over and over and over again, and I'm sick of it. I'm tired of it. So I had to take a break from all this bullshit because
Yeah. I
it's been
understand.
the 6th, now it's the 12th, and it's gonna, we're gonna go to the 14th, and then no, we're gonna now. I mean, it's never ending, and it's the same bullshit, and it's like selling fear over and over and over again. I just get sick of
Yeah.
it.
That's
I walk
that
away.
that's what it is, right? But the problem is that yeah. What is the problem? People never learn, do they?
No, they don't. They don't. So, I mean, whichever way crypto goes from here, I'm fine with. I mean, I've won several times. I'm good. Um, I would like to reach that next level. I really would. I'd like to get
Yeah.
back to where I was.
Dave. Dave.
Just to get back to
Dave.
where I was at the peak of this last bull run. I
Dave.
would like to be back there again.
Dave. You and I. Like here's the weird situation that I am pretty confident of. Regardless of the fact whether I'm going to buy in at the bottom or not, I'm going to be pretty near to it, as will you be
Exactly.
with the DCA. So regardless of that fact, even in the next run with institutional money, and with that run, I mean the real bull run that will happen like 300 days after Bitcoin's halving, and with the institutional money, the 10T market cap, that will at least, and I am almost afraid of saying it because I sound too cocky and arrogant, but that will probably at least give two zeros.
I agree,
Um,
because a lot of people today don't realize that we're only 1% of the globe. That's it, involved in
No,
crypto,
no, no, no,
maybe
no,
2%.
no, 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 no.
So
You're not.
imagine,
No, 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 no,
well,
no,
well,
no, 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 no. It's worse. It's worse. Like there's 4% in crypto, but we can't even find on Twitter Spaces and on Telegram the most active people. We can't even find the people interested in this. Like we're the 0.0000000000001% if this
well,
happens.
that's
Like
what I'm getting. What's going to happen when this is mass adoption and it's 50% of the population that's now involved? What is that going to mean to the guy who's got 1 Bitcoin or 1,000 Litecoin or a million
but
digibyte? What's that going to
someone
mean for that guy at that point?
someone will be proud that he holds 1,000 Satoshi. That will be the new goal, right? Can you own
Well,
21
they
Satoshi?
said, I remember many years ago, it was said that it was at 0.003 Bitcoin that you would then be considered wealthy. And then some people thought it was 0.03, but no, it was 0.003 of a Bitcoin. However, if you own 0.3 of a Bitcoin, good on you. And I don't know, will 0.003 be enough for the family to retire on at that point? I don't know. But when you do the math of other things like Winklevoss twins with 200,000, these people over here with 400,000, these people over here with, it's like, and then there's me, So that's why I say, what's going to happen to others who hold 1 Bitcoin and 1,000 Litecoin and 1,000,000 Digibyte and, hold those kind of figures. And with that, are they then automatically going to be grandfathered in as accredited
Well, here's the thing.
investors?
Here's
I
the
think
thing.
so.
Like, here's the thing, Dave, and here's why it's difficult to wrap our head around it. But humor me. We have to go back to a layer in society in regards to wealth that predates central banking, and that means that from a U.S. perspective, sure, you can go at when the Federal Reserve was part of society, and so
Well,
logically, many
I
of the
would I would be
economists.
looking I would be looking more at the silver and British
No,
pound
no, no, no. I'm a history
with
nut.
that of
Like,
China to get an
no,
equivalent.
no, 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 no. Because I agree with China's always been horny on silver, but throughout history for thousands of years. But um,
Well,
China
I'm saying to
is
measure some sort of a polar
no, but
shift.
no, no, no,
And
no. But I'm gonna lay it down for you. But China has very much always been a closed society, where the government is something that you revere as the head of the family, and is something that you work towards for the betterment of society. Whereas in the West, we have a very individualistic society ever since the Minoans and the Greek philosophers. That's like the birthplace of the European thinking, and later on what happened in the U.S. and the West over the Great British Empire and the U.S., etc. But if many American economists are looking at the period between 1800 and 1900 for how society could be rebalanced in wealth, but that's wrong too, because you had central banks in Europe that were it's a Dutch invention. We invented it in 1600s, so you actually have to go back to predating that, but then it was a whole bunch of war and schisms in how the church was separated between church and state, and Roman Catholicism basically split up from Protestants. So you have to even go back to that. So then you get to like the Byzantine Empire, and you go to like, well, the fall of the Byzantines when the Ottomans were um, shooting gunpowder at the walls of Constantinople, and they all fled, and we got the Renaissance. But before that, we had like the Western Roman Empire, the Eastern Roman Empire, sorry, the Byzantine Empire. And if you look at the wealth distribution then, and if you compare it to what we could have with the ratios between a Winklevoss and a Dave, so to speak, then you're looking at like, from a nobility point of view, you're looking at like emperor money, and like um, uh, being a count or a baron, if that makes sense from a medieval point of view. So you would have the value of, say, a city, or uh, yeah, basically the value of a city, or of a castle, that would Roman area, um, or a church of a region, like a province. That would be the equivalent, and it's fucking nuts if you look at it from that perspective.
yeah,
It's really fucking nuts if you
that
look at
that
it from
that's what that's what I also tried explaining to a few other people. It's like, I did not hit 8 figures during this bull run. I hit 7 figures. It's the second time I hit 7 figures in crypto. So it's been the only profitable hobby I have ever fucking had.
Well, it's a little bit more than it's a little bit more
what
it's a
happens?
little
But
bit more
what
than a lemon stand, Dave.
happens? but what happens to that blind cookie boy, right? That suddenly turn into 7 figures. Would it has not hit 8, but on that day I will take a photo for damn sure. Yet again, like in celebration of 7. So on 8, I'll take a photo of that. So to that point, though, how many of us at that point are then going to become 9 figures worth? Right. So,
Well, the
and
thing is, from a
think about it.
marketing
That's
perspective,
9
they
figures. 9 figures is Michael Jackson money. When Michael Jackson died, he was worth 150
no, but
million.
that's irrelevant because I'm sorry, but they didn't print that much at the time, so you can't really compare the two. But I mean, the 9 figures of Michael Jackson might be the 11 or 12 figures that we'll have. It's they inflated the shit out of it. So it's yeah, but I get your point. It's
But
just
I'm just
difficult to
saying,
compare.
I'm saying as far as value is concerned, I wasn't saying the actual figure itself. I was saying as far as 9 figures
Yeah,
of a lifestyle, 9 figure of a lifestyle at that point compared to, that,
yeah, but
and it's that
Dave,
drastic of a change.
Dave, you just said I think we're gonna have 2 cycles. This is just one,
Right.
and then after two
Yeah,
cycles, you get
because
the full mark.
this is not the mass adoption cycle. This is the
No,
adoption cycle to get control over it. And they're going to screw it up with CBDCs, and they're going to try this and try that. And we're going to have a bull run. I agree with that. When, I don't know. I do know that it has already been the longest bear market in history. Right now is longer than the 2018 and the
sideways forever.
2014 market.
Yeah, sideways forever.
So right. So I mean, yeah, now we just got a bump up to 20,000. Okay. In the grand scheme of things, I see it as meaningless, pointless. It's like I do believe that one day it's going to come down to the point where, okay, did you own crypto? And was it yours? That's all you're going to care about. Just that you were in this market, not that, where it's either going to come down to were you in before this date or after. So
Yeah.
I just there's a lot that can come from this. So at times discouraging, at times exciting.
It's fucking exciting, man.
No, it is in the long scheme of things, but sometimes in the short run, people get distracted. They also get bored. So it's like, and then new people come onto the scene, and a lot of new people who show up, it's like, listen to me because I did this and I did this. And it's like, great, dude. Congratulations on your first bull run. Go sit down over here.
Yeah,
I mean, this
yeah,
is my third
and
cycle. This is my third. It's like, congratulations,
Dave,
dude. Glad you
Dave,
made it.
Dave, I've yet to experience one bull run.
It's a blast, and I want the bull run like what we had in 2017. That bull run was fucking nuts, dude. I mean, it really was. $1,000 in the XRP turned into like 7 or 800,000. So where your
Wow.
$1,000, being the blind cookie boy, you take $1,000 that month, really 1,500, but just say $1,000 that month, and you buy because Cliff High came out with a report on XRP and the price was a half a cent. So you bought 200,000 XRP, or I'm used to trying to explain shit to my CPA as shares because she just doesn't get it. It's like it's a token, it's a coin, it's a token, it's a coin,
What's a
it's
CPA?
shares.
What's a CPA?
Certified public accountant. They're the ones
Ah,
that
right.
put taxes and all together, and and file on
yeah.
your behalf or for the trust or whatever. So yeah, but anyway, it's like beyond her. It was beyond her. I know it is, because it's like, no,
Right.
that's not right. That's, and same thing with trying to explain, like my last move, I sold, and it's like, well, no, now it's a capital loss to go against the 2021. And she's like, you
Right.
can't do that. I was like, well, why are other people able to do it, but I'm not? Right. So, to go against the capital gain that I had in 2021, I sold and took a capital loss. And well, you can't do that. You can do it within the same year, but you can't do it the next year. And it's like, well, can you just like look at it and get back to me, just please? So that way I don't, because there comes a point sometimes where it's like, you don't mean anyone harm or anything, but sometimes it's just business. And it's like, look, don't take this the wrong way, but fuck you, and you
And
just got to handle business sometimes.
why do you mean fuck you to her?
Yeah. Oh, well, you can't do that. Don't tell me I can't do it. I know of other places where people have done it. So
Yeah.
it's just there's a lot more there, that I can't say at the moment, but
It's all
like
right.
both of, like both Mother Dearest and my mom, my birth mother, right? And both of my moms they said, boy, your daddy ain't never had no problems like you have. It's like I'm
That
trying to
tells
decide, do I move this? And I'm trying to explain. It's like, no, I have cash. I don't want any more cash. There comes a point when you don't want dollars anymore. It's like, and
exactly.
my parents are like looking at me going, both mom and Mother Dearest looking at me going, your daddy ain't never had no issue like this before. But
It's
I mean,
amazing, man.
at other times, you think about the severity of nine figures and Michael Jackson wealth, right? And then you try to relate that, and it's like, okay, well, who the fuck else am I going to tell this to in that day, right? Because at that point, then levels of security become more and more. So I've already increased security yet again, and it's like, should I now just take a break from YouTube and Twitter and whatnot? It's like, look, I already did all right. I did okay.
Probably at some point you will have to do so, Dave, because
Well, and that's my other thing. It's like these other YouTubers that come and go. It's like, did they, just did now? Are they now nine figures? And that's why they walked away.
probably yeah,
Because they
probably
don't.
yeah. But here's
I
the
mean,
funny
because
thing. Here's
like
the
the
funny
same
thing. This is
bullshit that
this
I
is
hear.
Dave.
The,
Dave,
the same
what
bullshit
you
that I hear from these other people. Oh, I don't
Dave
own any crypto. It's like
Dave
horseshit.
Dave, what you've just been describing is the second bull run. Because if you think that those people that got 9 to 11 figures are not going to cook up something in the bull run between 2027 and 2030, you're all vastly mistaken. I mean, these
Well,
guys that
that's
fell
the
in love
other.
with the
That's
crypto.
that's where the rest of my mind is. It's like, okay, you made it. You did well. You did all of this. Okay, what have you done with it? What have you built with that now? So that I see a lot more being built out after this next bull run. So
Of
this
course.
next bull run, I see people taking more of their funds and their crypto and actually building more for the following run.
Look, if I'm going to go into 6 or 7 or even more figures, even then I'm going to start a company.
Well, yeah. I mean, it only makes sense to. Some companies are only made just to run a capital loss, just to run a loss through, for the tax write-offs. You can get all kinds of stuff done like that. So it just makes a lot more sense to be structured in such a way to be able to do that. Like for me, it was a hard lesson to learn, but under the trust, I had to file and pay 37% capital gains. Whereas normally a US citizen would be subject to 20% capital gains over 400,000. So over $400,000, you're taxed at 20%. However, me being blind, disabled, and on Social Security and Medicare, I can't do that. If I do that, I forfeit all my other benefits, everything. So it's like, that's why I created the trust, and I run everything through the EIN number of the trust, not my social. However, now I'm
Mm-hmm.
finding out, now, I mean, it's trial and error, you know? So
Yeah.
now it's like, okay, so now I'm looking at forming a C corp,
Mm-hmm.
or an S
What's a
corp,
C?
C corp or an S corp.
What's a C corp or an S corp? Can you explain it to me like I'm a Labrador?
That's the different types of corporations that you can file for
Right.
running different business. Like an S corp, I can run 6 different businesses through an S corp um, as the central hub, basically, while still
Okay.
underneath the umbrella of the trust. But the benefit here is that then I only pay 21% in capital gains, not 37% capital gains. So think
Okay.
about it. If you take 100,000 in profit, you then owe, well, actually you owe much less. The capital gains drop below 400,000. So it's like from 52,000 to 150,000, you pay 50%. No, I'm sorry, 15%. Then you pay 20%, 400,000 and above. It was something like that. Anyway, so now I can convert that down to only pay. I'm fine with paying 21% and doing it legally in such a way that it protects me, protects the assets held under trust, and then allows me the opportunity to run several other businesses through for revenue, for capital, some for business, for loss, and to be able to write all that off against crypto at 21%. So
Yeah,
it's
that's amazing, man.
it's a lot to take in, dude.
It's a lot to take in, but I get it because we've spoken about this before, and I really get it. But
But I mean,
it's
just based on $100,000, that's the difference of um uh, of taking home what 63%. So you know 63% versus 80%, or 80 is 79%. So then I get to keep more of my own money instead of leaving it in fucking Afghanistan, or in, um, going to Hunter's pet project, Ukraine.
Hunter's pet project.
We didn't take a vote on that, and you just created more money of any other time in history, and this funny money has not even hit the velocity of money to travel through the economy. We're just now beginning to see the stages of inflation,
Yeah,
just a little bit.
yeah,
I mean, and
I
for them
agree.
to come out with this bullshit and say, "Oh no, squirrel dropped 2 acorns, we're back at 2%," you're full of shit. I mean, you're absolutely full of shit. But yet, at the same time, it also shows the undervaluation of crypto market as a whole, because they just printed how much, 1.7 trillion, whatever. That's not even including what they gave away,
No,
right?
that was just a tax at the end of the year.
Right, exactly. Just, why not? Let's have a ball, right? They go out with a bang. As hell, the damn train has been off the tracks this long, but
What
so
a
they have
wonderful
no
world.
other option. There is no other option right now. For every $1 of GDP output, you need to input $8. Okay, and that's before 18% inflation, which is where we are right now. And so when you look at the number of dollars that have now been created, the amount of currency versus that of crypto, I don't care which one, Bitcoin, Litecoin, Digibyte, does not matter. You look at that, and you mean to tell me that they inflated the currency this much, but yet the market went down? That doesn't make sense mathematically. It has not entered yet. So, and
Yeah.
they're scared shit. They're scared shitless right now. They don't know. They now realize they fucked up. They don't know how bad they fucked up yet.
No, I
So,
think they do know, and I think
well, and
I have
why?
I have a solution to their fuck up, and I haven't heard any economists
Yeah, it's
speaking about this
resign.
yet.
It's resign. Walk away from your
No,
office.
no, 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 no. It's not resign. No, no, they're way too corrupt for that. And you'd be nuts to have any
Yes, but
morals
there
in
are more
this
of us than
society.
there are of them. They can resign if
Here's the
forced.
thing. Here's the thing. What this happened before in U.S. history with the Hoover Dam, right? With a high unemployment and a shitty economic situation. That's the moment where they're gonna
Or
reform.
Eisenhower with building the interstates. Yeah.
Yeah, they're just gonna reform the economy, the infrastructure, and they're gonna employ people on the
Right.
payroll
And,
of the
and it's
state.
going to look okay for a little while, but in reality, you just spent a shitload more.
Well, you know that, I know that, but people got to eat.
Enjoy it while it lasts. Learn to
So you're nine
fish.
figures, you're 9 to 11 figures. Yeah, learn how to fish. And I think that the Hoover Dam in the future is actually going to be the new digital and energy infrastructure. And the problem that they have is that you can't fit uh, round pegs in square holes, because the people that are losing their jobs and businesses over the lockdowns and over the inflation are those in luxury goods, culture, hospitality, and also taxi drivers. And those people are good with people, but not with machines. And the government thinks that they can just, re-educate them in towards STEM fields, but it's totally impossible to do so.
Well,
Maybe for a few.
and look at where we are as a society. What is middle class? Income of 50,000 a year, and you got 300,000 in student loan debt, 20,000
Look,
in credit
Dave,
card debt, with a $500,000 mortgage. That
middle
if
class,
that is middle class, then yeah, we're fucked.
middle class is the American dream. You got to be asleep to believe it. Yeah, there is no middle class, man. I don't think so anyway. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I'm here. Just
I,
deep
I, I
thought. That's all.
and everyone is in debt, but it's not the same in Europe. But we've got other issues with energy and such. But the whole situation in the U.S. society with the credit cards and the debts, it's fucking nuts, man. And I'm getting tired, I guess. Sorry.
Oh, that's all right. No, it's now like the store manager of a place I overheard could not had a flat tire on her car and didn't have enough money to replace a flat or fix a flat or go replace the tire or buy 2 or 4 new tires. Didn't even have that. And I'm just like, you spend 80 hours of your week as a store manager, sometimes 96 I did. And now
Yeah.
I question, was it worth it? And no, it wasn't.
Yeah,
Um,
but that's just sad, isn't it? It's also
yeah, and
teachers
it's
that
it's
need
like
to have.
you gave up your entire life for this job, and it's not even providing you with what you need.
No, but
You
it's
know,
the same all across the board, Dave.
that's why I don't understand. Is it why am I so lucky in crypto? Why are a few other people I know? Are we just the lucky ones that understand
No, no, no,
this?
no, no. I've digested this already. Where this is coming from. You want to hear my answer?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna have to do an assumption about you, but I think I'm gonna be right. As a kid, when you were between the age of maybe already at 2, but let's say 4 to 5 and 10 years old, that age, were you schooled at home in math?
Well, yeah.
There you got your answer, Dave.
I mean, from yeah, being an infant to doing, just flashcards even, and
Dave,
going as an
this is
infant.
this is this is the common denominator between all the people that we think is general, uh, is common in upbringing, but it isn't. And this is the foundational basis of logical thinking, and why we make different decisions, and why we are able to comprehend over many different subjects and still go back to the red tape that we're discussing.
Right,
This is why
because
we.
when I meet someone who's a freaking normie, right? Like my normie friends, right? They can tell you everything about Drew Brees and how many touchdowns and yards passing and yards running and how many
Yeah,
times he's been tackled and all of this kind of other, how many safeties. They can list stats like crazy. Why the fuck
yeah,
can't you invest, dude? You can't balance a fucking checkbook. I mean,
yeah, but what I just told you, that's, I believe this is one of the, maybe not the only thing, but I see it. Look, I work with disabled people, like mental people, but I used to be in sales and recruitment. I got a pretty fair grasp of how I need to look at people when I listen to them in regards to how they thinking. It goes automatically, but I analyze how people think, and then I see patterns in where they come from and where they make fallacies. And because it's my profession, right? I help people that actually take the wrong turn in their thought process. So I have to be really sharp at that. And that also helps me to say, well, someone is either bipolar or schizophrenic or autistic, and I might not know it, but I might be able to deduce it when I get to talk to someone, and not in one go, because it takes a very long time to actually be
I,
professional in that. But it
see
gets a
me,
fair grasp. And
me.
um,
I just question. Am I not right because I didn't have the vaccine?
no, 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 let's not go
you
there.
know,
Let's not go there.
is everyone else?
That's an
Am I
interesting
the one
topic.
that just went fucking nuts? That's all.
No, no,
That's all.
no. Let's not go in that one, because there's a whole mass psychosis thing going on there. But the thing is that, from that point of view, um, if I listen to people in spaces, and it's a great medium because I only have the voice in years. And if I listen to people in spaces and I have this ground equalizer, I have to. Um, you have on one hand the performance, the technique, how someone is using their voice, and whether they go up and down or a little bit more monotone or whatever. That's one part of it. And my bass voice is just very monotone, and especially if I don't give a crap or I smoke the joint. But in general, you can really zoom in on that. And but then there's also the people that don't give a fuck about it, and they just go for not the performance, but actually the issue at hand in what you want to discuss. So that's one aspect of it. And then 92% of communication, 92, is not the actual subject, but the performance. And the hilarity of that, and this is that people are persuaded. This is what you see with the influencers as well, not by what is being said, but how it is said. And you have to be really mindful and full attention, and very very sharp in people that do both, because then they manipulate the things. Politicians are really good at it. And um, you ask them a question and then they don't answer it, and then suddenly they started talking about another subject, and you're like, fuck, how did he do that? And you rewind the tape and you're like, oh god damn, you're genius. And it's
Reflection.
yeah, yeah, of course. Their whole business model is a deflection. But on spaces, you have this as well. But you also have people that can't separate um, fallacies and biases in their own thinking, from thinking that they're being manipulated. And that's the whole issue as well, because they're not aware of their own fallacy and bias. then they think that that part of the world is dystopian. And uh, uh, that's my biggest annoyance with humanity as a whole, I guess. It's my it at that moment I always try to help people, but my initial response is basically to shove my fist in your face. But it's just that won't solve anything either. But it's just the frustration. It's like, fucking hell, you idiot! Can't you just, look at this? And you see many things that are happening is that people have a fearful thing of one thing in the now, and then they extrapolate it linearly towards the future. So the whole future is suddenly dystopian. That's a main problem that happens. People that can't really separate issues from one another. So it gets too much, and then all of a sudden 5G gives you corona, and it's like, dude, it's a telephone network. It's nothing to do with organical material. It's like,
Well,
yeah, but
that and 5G cannot penetrate through liquid.
of course not. But it's
So
completely moronic.
5G is not going to penetrate your body because your body is how many percent liquid, right? So it's like
Yeah, but
to say some of these
it's
claims is
just
just like,
retarded.
right.
It's
To
just
me, it didn't
retarded.
make any sense. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah, but it's the same
and it's
people that.
and look, I live in the fucking swamp, dude.
Yeah,
I mean,
but Dave, in
5G
all
is
these
not going to
nuances,
travel well here.
in all these nuances, you have this with the flat Earth topic. People that believe that the Earth is still flat, and
Yeah,
and
then if that's the case, then we would have no need for
no, but you're
for
asking yourself, why can't you invest
tangent,
in crypto?
cosine.
No,
Um,
but Dave, you're asking the question, why can't you invest in crypto? Well, these are people that believe in the flat Earth. These are people that believe that ancient history of humanity was because of aliens. These are people that maybe believe that the world is 4,000 years old. These are people that maybe believe that CERN is creating antimatter to create a black hole and blow up the world. Uh, I could go on and on and on and on, and it's just very tiring to be part of that. And this is the extremes, of course, but the nuances are part of it as well. And
well, and here's the thing that I don't understand, because my uncle was involved in intelligence and whatnot, and I know for a fact that, if okay, you hear this person and that person come out, my secret informer friend, you know my guy, that my insider, it's like that's all bullshit, because anything like that would never be disclosed ever.
no, of course
So
not. Here's what they do: is they actually win the trust of a journalist, and they tell the journalist that they're an insider because they've been wiretapping shit. And then they tell the journalist things that are factual, and the journalist checks them, and they happen, and they're factual, and the journalist thinks, hey, this is interesting, it's factual. So then the journalist asks for more information, and they give one again, and again it's factual. And then that goes on and on and on until when the trust is built up, they put their seed in the thing that's a little bit doubtful, but not, could be true in the grand scheme of things, but isn't really been factually proven, or has any uh, evidence, and that gets part of the media, that gets part of the mass hysteria.
global
And
warming, climate change.
it's all these issues, and the problem is you can hardly debate them because everyone is segregated and gets it from a different point of view. So everyone is divided and conquered, and that's the bread and games that people have a difficulty of grasping. And if you don't grasp it, if you don't see how you're being played in the grand scheme of things, then never mind about investing.
Yeah.
because you shouldn't be marrying your
Yeah,
bags.
you're just a slave at that point, and you don't even realize it.
Yeah, and then people are offended by the fact, well, I'm not a slave, I'm a smart person, and no, you're not. And sadly, because the system is fucked, because we don't want people that are critical thinkers, and critical thinkers and logic comes from math, doing that by heart.
Well, and I hear this term thrown around a lot is like, oh, the genius, he's really smart. And it's like, genius? No, that is really rare. Why am I hearing these words so often? Just because mama called me a genius, I don't, that, that does not mean that I am. It's like, everyone now
Dave,
is a freaking genius
Dave,
because of fucking Google. If you
Dave,
turn your smartphone off, you're fucking stupid. I
Dave,
mean,
a
13
genius,
times 14, go.
Dave.
It's like, really?
Yeah, but a genius is someone scientifically with an IQ over 140, and we have various amounts of people around that. But we always like to think that a
Right, but
genius is someone.
I don't judge that by a number. I don't judge
No,
intelligence by
exactly
a
my
number
point. Exactly my point. We judge
because
it by the
my
output.
both of my parents were like that. They were listed that way. And I've never been tested. I don't really give a shit. I don't see it as a number. I don't like how do you say a status symbol, or I don't like it as it's of no reward, really. So I mean, why waste your time with it? Fuck it. Enjoy your life.
Yeah, I had to pay 75 euros if I wanted to become part of Mensa. And I know, who cares? I don't even have the diploma, man. And most people that I know across the street, when they ask me about AI or quantum computing or blockchain, I ask them, and they ask me a question. I explain it, and when I talk to them about things, they look at me like I'm fucking nuts, and then that's fine. So here's the funny thing. Last week at work, we had a meetup. We do that 4 times a year, once a quarter, with like 120 colleagues of mine, people that work in social work. And there was a speaker, a philosopher, comedian. They invited him for an hour, and he was speaking about AI uh, and blockchain and fourth industrial revolution.
Right?
So I actually managed to, at the end of the show, one up him. Not by doing it, but looking like, have you looked into this? Have you looked into that? Are you aware of this? And then also all of a sudden, people in and my colleagues think, oh Jesus Christ, you actually know this shit. And it's just like people are not really looking at what you're saying, but more at like the status of the person that's saying it, because that's the performance that
Thank
they're
you.
looking at.
Thank you. It's just because someone has 20,000 followers or whatever, that means that they're more right. No, in my opinion, that means that they are more wrong. That means that that's where the sheep are herding too. Okay, just like
Exactly.
this Michael Saylor guy, someone else mentions it often in that, what billionaire has ever tried to help me? And exactly my point. Okay, but at the same time, how did he get those billions, right? I mean, think back of .com. Didn't he lose all of that of his own and his clients' funds? Why do I want to listen to someone who's a swing and a miss? I don't get that. Or is it a setup, psyop? So whatever. I question a lot more there.
Yeah, the only thing that I see happening, which is kind of, you know, I'm looking at it from a factual point, Dave, and the thing that I'm curious about in regards to to Sailor, is that he's doing a lot of good work in regards to getting the message out over what Bitcoin is. So that's also a net positive for what Litecoin and Digibyte is. So I like it, but predominantly he's doing it towards enterprises and institutions. He's not out there for the retail investor. He doesn't give a fuck. He caters to them, but he doesn't give a fuck. I
That's
just
my
think
point. He doesn't give a fuck. Exactly.
he likes to be famous, but that's it.
That's my point. He doesn't care about helping this person and that person. You know, that's exactly my point. He doesn't care. It's like, but that's my point. It's like, what billionaire has ever tried to help me? He doesn't give a shit about that.
Exactly.
So, and like I said, yet again, swing and a miss. You know, I'm not going to go to some organized crime family to learn how to operate and run a business, right? I'm just not. It's not going to end well. That much I can tell you.
Probably not.
But that's why I question some of these people where they get their information from, and it's like, oh, well, the Bitcoin rat poison squared and this and that. It's like, really? It's like the dude fucking Buffett missed Microsoft, missed Google, missed Apple, missed every fucking thing. Didn't he say it was a fad? Isn't that what he said? It's like,
yeah.
But now look, I get it. Under brick and mortar, I don't see him as a genius. I just see him as just like other billionaires, where when you study billionaires, whether it be Jim Rogers or whoever, all that they do is they find an undervalued asset, they buy it, they hold it. It could be for 3-5 years, whatever. It could be 10, 20 years, whatever. But whenever that asset goes back above fair value and gets into overvalued, they sell and then they rinse and repeat. They do the same thing over and over again. They're not so bipolar to where it's my coin is the ultimate coin and the only coin and the superior coin. It's like, no, this is a network. This is computer code.
They are very, very risk aversive.
Well, that's rule number one of investing, is not all your eggs in one basket. So it's like, have you, I mean, no doubt. In the early days,
Berkshire Hathaway actually says if you do proper due diligence, not holding all your eggs in one basket is actually pretty stupid, because why would you diversify if you already know what asset to invest in? Interesting perspective, right?
Well, and how many times has that been proven wrong as well? Because, yeah, you can think one way and it turned out something. Look at beta versus VHS. Really? It's completely better. VHS.
Do you know Kodak? Do you know about Kodak?
Yeah. I used to have a Kodak camera.
Did you know that they actually own the patent for digital cameras?
Wouldn't surprise me.
They had the original patent. They had the first user advantage, and then their CEO or maybe their CTO said, "Yeah, this whole digital photography thing, I don't know, man. I don't think that's going to be the future. We're not going to do it." And basically killed their whole business model.
Penny wise and dollar stupid. Oh, it's going to cost this much more to do this. Right. Or you're going to end up being the next fucking blockbuster.
Do you know what
you're going to be the next blockbuster? That's all.
Do you know what the main argument was against it? Why they didn't want to do it?
Because of the cost of silver? I don't know.
No. they didn't want to go into digital cameras because they were afraid that the revenue that they were making from actually developing the photos would go away.
Imagine the irony there.
It's actually a case study in marketing these days. They still do that. It's an amazing story, isn't it?
Wow.
There is an actual story also about data, user data, metadata being used in advertisements in marketing. That's pretty funny as well. There was a 17-year-old girl, and she lived with her father. Parents were divorced, and one day uh, the door rang. So the doorbell went, and the father went to the door, and there was a package, and it was being delivered by fuck knows who, AT&T, whatever you got there in the States. And so the dad opened it, and it was full of baby stuff. And the dad was like, "What the fuck's this? Baby stuff?" And so he confronted the daughter, and she was like, "Yeah, I'm actually pregnant, and I've been yet to tell you." And you know, stuff like that. What turns out is that the pharmacy that sent the package to goes automatically to women that suddenly become interested in some sort of products that you only need if you're pregnant. So the system kind of goes into haywire and starts targeting you. But the thing is, this was a minor, and it was very invasive because the father didn't knew it. So he sued him, and he actually won. So it that's when this came to light, and it's stuff like this also that's very, to me, very interesting in seeing it in this market, that there seems to be no common sense anymore on what's right and where it's going and how the world should operate. Everyone is just a junkie for sensation or liquidity, and when Moon and when Lambo, and there's so few people that actually try to understand what it is, what it's going to do. And if you say that, yeah, I'm in it for the tech, and then they laugh at you like you're some kind of moron that's waiting longer for it to moon than necessary, because why the fuck don't you buy this NFT, dude? And it's just
Well, it's like for
um,
me, I am in it for the tech because now I
yeah,
have
me too.
experienced it. Now I have experienced it financially as a reward, as a payoff. I have. So I mean, now I've already done that. I've achieved that. So yes, now for me it is for tech. But for everyone who says it's only for tech, I call bullshit. I think you got into. I think everyone got into crypto to hit it rich, to get to try to, and just to try to learn, to try to figure out what project is doing what. Do I have a better shot over here or over here? But and that's why I have a diversified portfolio, is because any one of them could go fucking batshit crazy. I mean, any one
Of
of them.
course.
And it's like, oh, have you heard of Oompa Loompa coin? What the fuck is that shit? I know. I'm involved with good quality projects. I don't give a shit about the latest greatest shiny fucking NFT. I really don't give a shit. For
Yeah, but
me, I'm
NFTs,
in it for the tech. I'm in it for
NFTs
the
are
tech
going to
of the
go.
NFT. A non-fungible token is the exchange of value through a smart contract. That is an NFT, a non-fungible token.
I still think, honest to God, I still
And
think
it's like
NFTs.
that is a patent right now, and
Yeah,
no one knows that. And it's like, oh my god.
yeah, I still think NFTs are going to go down.
I mean, look, no doubt some of the ones in different coins, they'll have nostalgia. I'll be able to trade it with this person or that person. Is it going to be worth $50 million? No, I think you bumped your fucking head.
Yeah, did you know that the original ape NFT that Justin Bieber bought for $1.5 million is now only worth 45,000?
I wouldn't have paid him that for it. I mean, maybe for the significance of it being Justin Bieber, that would be about it. But I don't give a shit about Justin Bieber. Fuck Justin Bieber. You know, I mean, for his fans, look, congratulations. I'm happy for you. But doesn't interest me. What do I care? You know, about Gene Simmons, a Kiss. The dude's a fucking prick. You know, I mean, yeah, he made some good music. He, you know, whatever. He's, I don't know. Fuck him. You know, whatever. I don't care I just don't give a shit anymore. I mean, it's like, whoever makes an NFT and we're only going to release, so many. And it's like, well, I'm like an NFT. If it has a use case, like as the claim check, then I totally get it, because that's what my project is based upon, is as the claim check. However, with what it is I want to do, I went to Reggie, and we have not spoken any further. He responded and whatnot, says he wants to talk. That's fine. I got a lot of shit going on. I mean, I really do. I got 2 houses completely torn apart and gutted. I'm doing all this stuff with another business, with like laser eyes and stuff. Here's one. So yeah, the sunglasses. So I'm I don't know if you saw this. Can you read that?
No, what is it? No, I can't. What does it say?
Or that side? Can you read that?
My resolution is too low. I can't zoom in either.
One side says digibyte.org, and then the other side says Blind Dave Crypto YouTube. So it's just cool. Like, just for fun. It's like I did that, yeah, and it's a blue frame with the white lettering on it. But anyway, did that, and it's like, so I'm stuck at the legal issue there right now, currently. Like I said, S Corp, C Corp. What do I do? And that's kind of where I'm at, because I mean, I'm ready to launch this business as well as the crypto cruise. So it's like,
yeah, what's that?
I'm doing all of this on top of all of this madness.
What's the crypto cruise?
Yeah, going to Cozumel in October, Cozumel, Mexico. So, and
that's nuts, man.
And no passport is needed, and no vaccine is needed either. So, and it's just like, but my thing is like traveling all through the US at all these different crypto events. I mean, dude, I fly here, I get a room, this and that. Before I know it, I dropped $1,500, $2,000, $3,000 at each of these events. I think I did like 9 or 11 events.
Oh, cool. How was it?
Right. They were all awesome. I loved them. But my thing is like, some of the events, granted, it wasn't worth it, right? But I mean, still, it was an experience. So I enjoyed it. I went, all that kind of stuff. But, as far as when I break down the numbers of it, dropping $2,000, $3,000 at an event, like nothing. And that's like a 2-day event. And, I'll stay for like 3 or 4 days just to draw it out a little bit. But it's like, what I'm doing with the cruise is a 5-day cruise. It's not a 2-day event. It's a 5-day event.
Much more value.
I want a place to kick back and kick my feet up and just have a good time. All drinks included. All your alcohol, all your food is included. They do have like upscale restaurants that you can order from.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And look, I'm down. I'm gonna try it. But look, there's also, cheeseburgers and pizza 24 hours a day. Like in my case, being a type 1 diabetic, I can at least I know I can grab something, any time of the day. And as well as stuff in the room and whatnot like that. But I mean, I'm doing it all inclusive. Your alcohol, 15 drinks a day. 15. If you need your 16th drink, look, You can have one of mine because I can't drink 15 drinks in a day.
Oh, neither can I, man. Neither can
But
I.
that's my
But
point. It's like if you need a 16th drink within 24 hours, okay, you can have one, but we're gonna
well,
chat.
Dave, we could start drinking just before and after midnight, so you can get 2 full quotas.
Well, that's just it. What's the time frame? How can I get more?
Yeah. When do we reset the ticker?
Right. When does the time reset again? Okay, 3 o'clock. We're good. Okay.
Yeah. We'll adapt, improvise, and overcome.
But yeah, and then like the rooms, it's like why skimp out on the rooms? Get everyone the best room, man. Get them a balcony, not a ocean view. I don't want ocean view. I want fucking ocean. I want the real deal. I didn't want a room in the fucking hull. You know, open the door and you got salt water and the air, and then it's completely private from anywhere else on the ship. I mean, the only people who can watch you fuck are the fish. So, you know, it's like get everyone the best room, the best in the place. It's like, and look, $1,500 for 5 days, I think is reasonable. I mean,
Yeah,
that's a
it
drop in
very
the
much
bucket
is.
for me. I'm dropping 2-3 grand per event, and I'm like, what the fuck? You know? So I'd be curious to find out what, I know BitBoy is going to be doing a cruise. So I'm like,
Is Jared gonna come?
I don't know the answer to that. I have not reached out yet because I'm still dealing with, herein, thereof, therefore, and thereof, ever after, within, herein, therein, therefore. It's like
Yeah,
all this attorney shit. It's like, man.
I get it. I get it. But what's your relationship to BitBoy actually?
um, our we go way back to, let's see. I volunteered to work the booth for Digibyte at an event in Texas, Blanco, Texas, and
Ah,
BitBoy was there way back then, and back then BitBoy was a no one. It's like, I remember him way back then, and I used to chime in on his channel all the time. Now he's got, I don't know, million something followers, whatever. It's like,
so he still remembers you well?
I don't know. He did call me once, um, to speak about going on his show Beards and Bitcoin, and
Wow.
that was a while ago, dude. So I mean, I haven't spoken to BitBoy in a while. I mean, look, he's busy doing his own thing. I'm busy doing my own thing. It's cool. It's just, the way shit has happened. I mean, look, hats off to him for being successful. Um,
Exactly.
but
That isn't easy.
no, it's not. And he runs a complete enterprise now. I think he employs what, 50 plus people. So I mean, he runs an enterprise now. So congratulations. I'm happy for you. Um, but same thing, he's busy doing his thing, running down other coins, news of the day, doing 3-4 broadcasts a day. The dude's busy. I mean, he just is. And I mean, granted, I understand he's got people doing a lot of the legwork, but you know, I've been able to
Yeah,
do
but
I've
if
been
you
able
look
to
at
put all of this, I've been able to put all this together and be working on the property, doing other stuff, and dealing with attorneys and insurance company and all of this other kind of stuff.
yeah.
And all of this should be coming to a head like in the next month. Should be. I think we're
Oh,
gonna
really?
I think we're gonna settle in mediation. That's just what I think. I think the attorney is really going to go after and try to hammer the insurance company really hard. I really do. However, if it goes to further litigation, if it goes to trial, then that's something totally different. My goal is not to get tied up in 2 or 3 years of a legal battle.
It
Okay, I'd
probably
rather be
will
over and
because
done with. And
it probably will go to trial.
no, I'm more hopeful really of the mediation and
No,
just getting a payoff. I mean,
You,
really, to be
yeah,
honest,
that would be better, but usually lawsuits are part of their equation, right? On their business model.
well, their business model, they don't want to go to court because they don't want to have to pay their attorneys. It costs them more money. It costs them less money just to settle with someone like me who is lawyered up. So,
Yeah.
I mean, because they don't have a case in front of a judge or a jury, either way. I mean, this is so open and closed, open and shut case. I was stunned when they gave me the denial letter. That's after giving me 40 grand. You know, then now you're going to serve me with a denial on additional, and it's like, how? It's even in the policy. How are you going to deny that to anyone? I
Maybe
mean,
they're bankrupt.
why do I pay you money every month? So,
Well, how's their financial position?
well, they're still in business. So, I mean, I don't know. I haven't looked at any sort of prospectus or anything, but as far as I know, they're okay. I mean, they're at least active in the state. I mean, now we've had 20 different property and casualty companies just fold in Louisiana. So I don't know. Is this the calm before the storm? Is this like my only shot? Are they about to go under? I don't know. It'd be nice to get paid off before they go under. You know, if
That's
they close the
that's
doors, it'd be nice to get a payoff. That's all I'm
that's for
saying.
sure. That's for sure. Hey
But
Dave, I'm gonna go off to bed in a bit, um, because it's late here, and I really need to go to sleep
Alexa,
eventually.
what time is it?
It's 6:17 p.m.
So it would be 1 o'clock your time, a.m.
Yeah, yeah, 1:15.
Yeah. I figured it was a 7 hour difference. I know it's 6 hours from here to London. So it's like,
Yeah, one more for Amsterdam.
right. That's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah, and I'm probably gonna listen back to that 3-hour YouTube video about Digibyte, but I'm not really in the mood, and I don't know if I missed a lot. But
Some good things were said. The rest of it was more of a cheerleading session. I mean, it really, I'm more upset with myself for sounding the way that I did, but different things that I did want to say in either which way. However, you know, I wish I'd have asked more more questions, some sort of insight or whatnot to gather from, other than just run of the mill, generic. You know, I wish I could have. I wish I would have put down some questions down to ask, a little brainstorming session beforehand. But no, for me, everything was fucking rushed. You know, it's like I
so
found out
who
that it was going live, and I started advertising, and it's like, well, how do I record and do this and that? And it's like, well, let me figure it out. And I figured out a way to do it. So as soon as I figured that out, you know, I turned them on and started recording. And
so
also,
what did you wanted to ask?
what well, I wanted to ask more about the algo swaps. So that was addressed. Some other stuff like 8.22, you know, it's like, when already, any new intel, a guesstimate as far as the time frame. And yet again with the bug, it's like, you know, I understand that by removing it, it caused a bug. Can we like re-implement it to not cause the bug? You know, what other issues can be solved? I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
So it's like, you know, I mean, I'm not involved that way. I'm not doing any of that. But it's like, you know, like you said, it's been a year. You know, what's new? I mean, I understand Jared's point and all, saying that everyone has jobs and everyone works and is a volunteer only for Digibyte. It's not like people get paid day in, day out to sit behind a computer. They do this at their leisure. For this is fun for them.
I don't get that argument either, though, because in my humble opinion, the people that were early investors in Digibyte, like from
I would have
2014 onwards,
a more vested interest in it getting finished.
yeah, I believe some of the folks that are in Digibyte that have been in Digibyte from the beginning, they must have been in at least seven figures, at least, and
Yeah,
and they were
because
probably
in
no, but also no, Dave, because also they were probably running the mining pools at the beginning, and if you were running mining pools in 2014, you were running them in from Bitcoin in 2013 at the end of it as well. So those guys, they must have had plenty of money to get some Python developers in on it or what have you not, and that's just something I can't really rhyme.
well, I like Digibyte of 2017 was at 0.0000. I forget what it was there. It went all the way to 7 cents in 2017. I mean,
Yeah,
that
that's
was
a lot.
well, it was when you do the math, it came out to 280x compared to Bitcoin's 16.5x. Because Bitcoin in 2017 went from 1,000, yeah, it went higher, but it ended the year like December 31st at 16,500. So that's a 16.5x versus 280x for that at Digibyte. And it's like, no one even pays that any mind. And it's like, so yeah, if you put $1,000 in a Digibyte, you got 280 grand back as a return, basically. So yeah, to your point, anyone who's been in Digibyte for a number of years, yeah, they're seven figures.
Yeah, and here's the thing that I think is nuts. Why aren't they putting more money into it then? Like I don't really want to talk about like
Putting money
what other
into
people should
something,
do.
putting money into something can be wasteful. You can throw a lot of money at something and end up with nothing.
Yeah,
Um,
but not putting any money in is very wasteful as well.
I think that those days will change. I mean, same thing with the alliance, giving the option for some people who did do well to be able to donate that in such a way to benefit them on their taxes as
Well,
well.
here's the thing. Like, I don't know what to make of the alliance. I like the people that are in it. I trust them, but they are super silent.
Well, and that's why I don't understand. You know, like when you go back and you listen to the video, this other guy was speaking of, you know, more content, you know, and it's like, no shit, we're deprived of content. I agree. But hell, even at least, you know, a session over coffee or drinks or whatever, you know, talking Digibyte, going back and forth between other community members, I think would, you know, even just that would be beneficial. Just shooting a breeze with the guys, or, you know, Digibyte Nights of the Round Table or something like that, you know, to be able to discuss and go over different things. But why hasn't anyone put it all together to be able to multicast, you know, broadcast to all these different stream places? And it's like, why? I mean, you know, other places are able to do that. And it's like, I understand you got one or two outlets. We need a lot more. We need other people describing it, other people just having conversation and going back and forth over it, other people describing other things, you know. It's like, and for the finished actual presentation that you want to offer to, you know, whatever alphabet soup, you know. I mean, good for you. I
Hmm.
mean, to be able to have that as a presentation. I get that. There needs to be people who do this to come in and do this, basically. But 8.22 needs to be completed before anything else gets done. You can't even update it until 8.22. Any sort of other things that you would like to change or implement will not be able to be done until after 8.22. So it's like, frustrating.
I honestly think it's already done.
I hope so.
I really do. The only reason that they're probably not. Sorry, man. I really need to go to bed soon. But the only reason I think that they're not putting it out there is because it could actually be copied.
Maybe, but at the same time, it's like, are we also going under the radar? So other litigation and or cases and whatnot before, and definitions and whatnot given by the SEC and the CFTC and all this other bullshit. Are we like just working on code and flying under the radar and not being looked at? And has that been a blessing? In other words, so granted, it's decentralized. There'd be nothing for anyone to subpoena.
Well, that's not true. That's not true. If you look at the library court case where the pre-mine was actually a violation, Jared itself could actually be litigated for the small pre-mine that was used in the marketing and in the early development of Digibyte.
Yeah, but
not enough to ban.
But back then, everyone did. Everyone did a
Yeah,
pre-mine. Everyone.
Yeah, but
I mean, Bitcoin
yeah, so
had a 1 million pre-mine. Where's the outrage there? Bitcoin with a 1 million pre-mine versus what? Digibyte at half of 1%.
Yeah.
So it's so minuscule, it's stupid.
You're not wrong. You're definitely not
that
wrong.
was the issue with the Hinman and all that with XRP and Ripple, is that the payouts in the early days. But you can see that it has become decentralized. It is not a focused. And why now has Jeb McCaleb's payouts ceased? And what's going on there now? Where is that? Why has Jeb McCaleb never been investigated or asked any questions? I mean, I would love to get all those people from way back then together in a room, metal enclosed, and just start asking questions from back in the day.
Well, most of them,
that of Charlie Lee, Roger Ver, Jeb McCaleb. Why is
most of them are done, Dave. Most of them are done.
Yeah.
They don't want to deal with the shit.
Yeah, that's just it. At 9 figures, fuck it. I'm done. I'm good. 9 or 10,
yeah.
Whatever. Maybe 10. Who knows? But yeah, it's what a hell of a ride it's been already. But yeah, it brings up many other questions for the future. So
that it does. That it fucking does. I still don't know. I still don't know where it exactly is going to go to. It's just.
Well, that's kind of what I was getting to earlier, is that I see Bitcoin going up, but not up in infinity. I see other projects doing well too. So I don't see Bitcoin as remaining number one in the future.
Well, I can see it remaining number one for the foreseeable future. And unless next year we're going to have a situation humor me, where we no longer have Gemini, Genesis, Coinbase, Grayscale, Binance, and maybe some other exchanges. They're all gone. And the only compliant exchange where you can actually buy crypto with your CBDC is LCX.
That's a wild thought.
Sure, that's a very well thought. And then the money that's in the market can work in the market, but all the new retail money has to go through the CBDC and has to be compliant. So there won't be any increase in market cap in crypto unless it's compliant.
Which
That's
is
a
why
very
I think,
well thought.
well, and again, that's why I think is it going to be more of, did you own crypto before this date, and that's all that's going to matter. It's
Yeah,
not going to matter.
that date is 1 January 2024.
Yeah. So
Well, less than a year.
yeah,
That's when ISO and MiCA become mandatory. And when they become mandatory, that doesn't mean that we'll already have a full-fledged CBDC. I don't think that we will, but that's when it's legally possible. So that's when the risk increases. Because you won't know, right? Like from one day to the next, you might get an update on your smartphone and you have to reinstall your commercial banking app for a central banking app. And you'll probably have to accept some users and agreements on your app. And you have to, by opening the app, after you install it, all of a sudden you have to shoot a video of your face nodding to the left and to the right, and you have to put your passport next to your phone, and they'll probably scan it in. And then all of a sudden you have a digital identity in a CBDC, and it looks the same. It looks fine. All the money's there, same numbers, same transaction history. Everything's there. Everything's nice and in order.
which is also why I like to share with other people to have multiple wallets with multiple amounts. So like for Digibyte, I the most I hold in one individual wallet is like 200,000 Digibyte. Because like let's say you have a computer that gets corrupted or a file that gets corrupted. You don't want to lose the entire computer or lose the entire file. So I look at it the same way as with a wallet. I only keep a certain amount per wallet. That's it. I just create a new wallet address on like say a ledger. I just make a new wallet and Digibyte 1, 2, that etc. And because I don't want to have it all within one wallet and then be compromised in any way where whether it be the IRS, the government, whoever says, oh, well, you spent money out of this account and it shows you have 200,000 Digibyte. You got me. I'm busted. You caught me. I got 200,000 Digibyte. Meanwhile, all the other accounts I never touched, I never used, I never brought them online. So
That's clever.
well, it's something
Dave,
no one else has given any mind to yet. And it's like, why just have, it's like all
multi-sig.
your Bitcoin, again, all your eggs in one basket. Why have all your Bitcoin on one wallet? Really? No. I mean, have it in a paper wallet, have some on a ledger, have some on Exodus, have,
Yeah, but the thing is, people are too comfortable, and the way I look at it is that you have the opportunity of a lifetime to have upward mobility and then some. And then why wouldn't you want to consolidate that until the lowest risk possible? So yeah, good on you, man. Well done. I'm
well,
gonna
and
go off in
because
a bit.
if one
Dave.
file gets corrupted, you don't want to lose it all, do you? So that's where I'm at.
I'm seeing a metal plating where you can put your seed into it and then put that in a vault. Uh, yeah.
They got a lot of that, like the metal mnemonics. You can do that with your seed phrase up to like 24 words, stuff like that. And or you can put it on paper, you can laminate it twice, and then you can put it in a fireproof bag and then have a fireproof safe at the house and that kind of stuff. You can do all of that kind of shit. You can go bury it in the ground. You can go do whatever you want to with it. So I mean, at that point, you can even you can go to Lowe's and go buy a metal engraver, even,
Yeah, I know.
and
That's the
you
one.
can use on a piece of metal and just drop that in the wall. Put that in the wall. I mean, look, worst case, you move out, you kick a fucking hole in the wall. Wow, you know. Knock a hole in the wall and take your piece of metal with your seed phrase when you leave. That's all.
Wild times. Dave, I really enjoyed seeing and hearing you. You got a nice background, even though I know it's fake, but it's a nice
Yeah,
background. It's a good
I
one.
can change it. Watch. I just wanted to do this. I'll tell you. I'll tell you later why. Where is it? Settings. Okay, virtual background. Okay, yeah. See, so like I can change it to different things. Like there's
Good brick.
then Digibyte on the back, and then do other stuff. Like there's a Bitcoin. So
Nice.
and then 504. So then I just took a few pictures. Like this is like after Hurricane Katrina, here in New Orleans, you got, this is like right here. They did the X and they put how many people were found missing, or, the year, and how many deceased bodies went into another quadrant of the
Wow.
X. Right.
Wow.
And that was just posted on the buildings. However, you see the police force here going in and out the window with the TV and the radio and everything else. Because
Priorities.
it's like, it was nuts here then. So I mean, after Hurricane
Yeah.
Katrina, I left. I moved to Colorado, dude. I was out. I was like, screw this, I'm gone. It's like we need a crew. We don't need me.
Figures.
Yeah, well, that was
Yeah.
just it. It's way too much work for one person, and that's where I'm at now. It's like, so with this, if we do go to mediation and I get a payout, a lump sum, do I just hire a contractor, say fuck it, you do it, go for it, and just knock it out and be done with, because I mean, I'm sick of it. I'm
That
really
that
sick.
would be that would that
I,
that
I,
would be
I
nice,
know
Dave.
how to do it, but man, it's getting old.
Of course. And I understand the frustration, but keep at it. You're doing great work. Sleep well. And I'm gonna go to bed, mate. It's been nice talking to you, and good to see that you're still hanging in there.
Yeah, same here, man. Same here. And
Cheers.
anytime you want to come on, or if you want to have a show or whatever, and throw a broadcast up, anytime. So
Well,
go over different information or put
I
something
might
together.
I might at some point want to do that with you, but I want to I'm pondering about the due diligence that I've done in the past 1.5, 2 years, and throw it out in one show with you.
Well, it's difficult to do that in one show. Different highlighted shows to highlight individual things leading up to something would be probably better. Because I mean, you can run on system overload, and I can get into, you know, uh, the December 24th, 1913, and lose everyone. So So to try to break that down over time works for people to digest more.
Well, yes, I agree. I fully agree. And I guess that this is the part that I'm still pondering about on how to tackle it.
Well, for me, it became more of an issue. Like I said, you start thinking in the realm of 9 figures and Michael Jackson money and security and different other things involved. It's like, do you really want at that time? Is it really worth it to you? Or do you just go away? So it's like, well, first off, there needed to be more things done for security. So it's like I went after that and fixed that. So it's like now I got all that squared around. But at the same time, there may just be a point where, you just want to say, I've had enough, and just to have the option to leave or the option to turn it over to someone else and say, here you go. Because at what point do you become a slave to what it is that you do? And
Well, the thing
where, like, say tomorrow I decide I want to wake up and go to Florida.
before I'm gonna go, Dave, I think that the question you want to answer for yourself is, do you want to have the moral victory lap, or can you go without it?
I don't know. I've gotten a couple laps in already.
Well, you did, yeah, you sure did.